The great hall of the Galactic Council gleamed under the light of three suns. Its crystal walls rose hundreds of meters into the purple sky, housing representatives from over 2,000 spacefaring civilizations. But today, the hall held a different energy. Today, they gathered to judge humanity. Ambassador James stood alone at the center platform, his gray diplomatic uniform stark against the colorful robes of alien representatives surrounding him. His weathered face showed the strain of 3 days of continuous defense arguments. Above him, the council speaker, a tall being with shimmering blue skin, raised all four hands for silence. The evidence against Earth is clear. The speaker's voice boomed through the chamber. Their technological advancement rate exceeds safe parameters. Their cultural influence spreads like a virus through our younger civilizations. They refuse to follow our guidelines for controlled progress. James gripped the podium tighter. With respect, Speaker, humanity has done nothing wrong. We've shared medical breakthroughs that saved billions across the galaxy. Our entertainment and art bring joy to countless worlds. Yes, we advance quickly. It's in our nature. But we've never used our progress to harm others. Murmurs rippled through the assembled aliens. Some nodded in agreement, but most showed signs of fear or distrust, at least among those whose expressions humans could read. The speaker's voice cut through the noise. Let us review the charges. In the past decade alone, humanity has developed quantum shielding beyond approved levels, created AI systems that exceed council guidelines, and spread their free market ideas to developing worlds. Those markets helped lift 3 species out of poverty, James protested, and our AI systems have strict ethical controls. Enough. The speaker's skin flashed darker blue with emotion. The council has deliberated. We will now vote on humanity's status in the galactic community. High above, massive holographic numbers appeared. As each species cast their vote, the numbers shifted. James watched with growing horror as the percentage supporting Exiled climbed higher and higher. In orbit above, Captain Thomas stood on the bridge of the warship Relentless, Earth's most advanced vessel. His crew watched the proceedings through the main view screen, faces growing tighter with each passing minute. Sir, his communications officer called out, voice shaking. The final vote, 78% in favor of Exile. Thomas closed his eyes briefly. 10 years of serving alongside alien crews, defending council worlds, building friendships across species lines. All of it meant nothing now. The speaker's next words echoed through every human ship and colony in council space. By the authority of the Galactic Council, humanity is hereby confined to their home solar system for a period of no less than 500 years. All human ships must return to Earth space immediately. All human colonies in council territory will be evacuated. James made one final attempt. Speaker, please. We have millions of citizens living on other worlds. You're destroying families, trading partnerships, research projects. The council's decision is final. The speaker's tone held no room for appeal. To ensure compliance, humanity will dismantle its fleet, retaining only one defensive vessel. The rest will be scrapped under council supervision. On the Relentless, Thomas received the official order. His ship would be the only one spared, designated as Earth's permitted system defense vessel. As he read the document, his hand curled into a fist. Plot a course for Earth, he ordered, his voice steady despite his anger. And download everything we can from the council databases before they cut our access. As the Relentless turned toward home, Thomas watched the other human ships beginning their forced withdrawal from council space. But in his mind, he was already thinking ahead. The council thought they were caging humanity. They thought this exile would weaken Earth. They were wrong. As his ship entered faster than light travel, Thomas allowed himself a small smile. The council had just made the biggest mistake in their history. They had given humanity something dangerous, a reason to prove them wrong. Behind them, the council celebrated their decision, believing they had contained a potential threat. None of them realized they had just created exactly what they feared most, a humanity united against them, with nothing left to lose. 5 years passed since humanity's exile. On the surface, Earth seemed to have accepted its fate. The Council's spy drones observed quiet cities, routine space traffic, and an apparently defeated civilization. They were wrong. Deep beneath the red sands of Mars, in a facility known only as the Nest, humanity's true response to exile took shape. Project Phoenix stretched through 20 kilometers of underground tunnels, hidden from the Council's watchful eyes. The warship Relentless hung in orbit above Mars, officially conducting routine patrol duties. But today, Captain Thomas stood in a secret underground dock, watching as engineers swarmed over his ship's hull. The vessel that had once been Earth's last warship was becoming something entirely new. Beautiful, isn't she? Head engineer Mark walked up beside Thomas, wiping grease from his hands. His white hair and lined face showed the strain of 5 years of non-stop work. Wait until you see what she can do now. Thomas nodded, watching as workers installed new panels across the ship's hull. Will it work? Better than we hoped. Mark pulled up a holographic display. The quantum shield technology is ready. When activated, it creates a bubble of altered space-time around the ship. Enemy weapons won't just bounce off. They'll never even reach us. The Council thought they were punishing us. Thomas said quietly. Instead, they gave us exactly what we needed. Time to work without interference. In another section of the Nest, Robert, the lead weapons designer, was running final tests on a new type of energy cannon. The weapon looked deceptively simple, a smooth cylinder that could retract seamlessly into the ship's hull. But when activated, it could punch through any known shield technology. 5 years, Robert muttered as he worked. 5 years of watching Council-backed pirates raid our outer system ships. 5 years of their observers treating us like prisoners in our own home. Well, they wanted us contained. Let's show them what humanity does in a cage. The facility buzzed with activity. In one chamber, scientists perfected new stealth systems. In another, crews trained on simulators that replicated every known alien combat style. Earth had turned its exile into an advantage, focusing all its creative energy on a single goal: freedom. Above ground, Council observers watched Earth's apparent compliance with satisfaction. They noted how humans kept their remaining ships within prescribed limits, how they maintained the correct amount of space traffic, how they filed proper reports for every minor activity. They never noticed that Earth's power consumption was slightly higher than it should be. They didn't realize that routine cargo shipments to Mars contained more than just supplies for the small research bases. They didn't spot the quantum fluctuations from shield tests, hidden within Mars's natural magnetic field. In the facility's command center, Thomas met with Earth's leadership via secure hologram. The modifications are nearly complete, he reported. The Relentless isn't just a warship anymore. She's something new. The Council member from North America nodded. The pirates are getting bolder. Last week, they hit 3 mining ships near Jupiter. The Council still refuses to help. They're probably the ones sending the pirates, added the European representative. Testing our defenses, watching how we respond. Then let's show them exactly what they want to see, Thomas suggested. One more patrol ship doing its job poorly. Until the moment we decide otherwise. The Asian Council member leaned forward. The project costs have strained our resources to the breaking point. This had better work, Captain. Thomas stood straighter. When the Council exiled us, they thought they were being clever, leaving us one ship as a gesture of mercy. But they forgot something important about humans. We don't need a fleet to change the galaxy. We just need one chance. As the meeting ended, Thomas walked back through the facility. Workers paused to salute as he passed. Everyone here knew their role in what was coming. The Council had meant to humble humanity. Instead, they had united Earth like never before. In the main dock, the Relentless waited. Her new hull gleamed under the work lights, hiding technologies that no alien mind had imagined possible. Soon, she would rise again. And when she did, the galaxy would learn why you should never corner a human. The Council had given humanity 5 years of isolation, thinking it would weaken them. They were about to learn their mistake. Sometimes, the most dangerous prisoner is the one who seems to accept their cage. The distress call echoed through space at 3 a.m. Earth time. Pirates had ambushed 3 human cargo ships near Pluto's orbit. This attack was different from the others. Bigger, bolder, and far more deadly. Captain Thomas stood on the bridge of the Relentless, watching the emergency broadcast. The cargo ship captain's face showed real fear. They have Council weapons. Military-grade stuff. We can't. Wait. No. Please. The transmission cut off in static. How long to reach them? Thomas asked, his voice tight with controlled anger. 20 minutes at full speed, sir, his navigator replied. But Council rules say we must request permission before. No time. Thomas took his command chair. All crews to battle stations. Let's see if our new toys work. The Relentless accelerated faster than any ship should be able to move. Inside the secret dock on Mars, Engineer Mark watched the ship's data stream with satisfaction. 5 years of work were about to be tested in real combat. When the Relentless arrived at the battle scene, they found destruction. 2 cargo ships drifted in pieces. The third was being carved apart by 3 sleek warships that definitely weren't normal pirate vessels. Those are Council military ships, Thomas's scanner officer reported. They're just painted to look like pirate vessels. Thomas stood slowly. Record everything. Full sensor sweep. The Council just showed their true colors. He pressed the ship-wide comm button. All hands, this is the moment we trained for. Remember, those cargo crews are our people. Time to show the galaxy what happens when you push humans too far. The pirate ships noticed the Relentless and turned to attack. They fired high-powered energy weapons, the kind that only Council military vessels carried. Quantum shields online, the defense officer called out. The shots from the enemy ships vanished before they could hit the Relentless, disappearing into tiny pockets of warped space-time. That's impossible, one of the pirate captains broadcast. You're supposed to be contained. Limited. Thomas allowed himself a small smile. Return fire. Show them what 5 years of human innovation looks like. The Relentless's new weapons activated. Panels slid open along its hull, revealing Robert's energy cannons. The shots didn't travel through space. They bent it. Each blast ignored shields and armor, striking with surgical precision. In 30 seconds, it was over. 3 disabled ships floated in space, their crews trapped inside with their secrets. Download their computer cores, Thomas ordered. Every bit of data. Then send a message to Earth Command. The Council just gave us exactly what we needed. Proof. Hours later, in an emergency meeting beneath Mars, Earth's leaders reviewed the evidence. The disabled ships contained Council military IDs, official orders, and communication logs. The pirates were actually Council Special Operations Forces, tasked with testing Earth's defenses and keeping humanity afraid. They've been playing us for 5 years, the North American representative said, looking at the data, using these attacks to keep us weak, divided, focused on defense. Not anymore. Thomas stood at the briefing table, his uniform still dusty from battle. We have proof of their lies. Proof they've been attacking innocent civilians. Proof they violated their own laws. The Asian representative nodded slowly. Then it's time. Captain, you know what this means. Yes. Thomas looked around the room. Once we act, there's no going back. We'll be breaking exile. The Council will respond with everything they have. They already think we're dangerous. The European leaders stood. Let's show them how right they were. The vote was unanimous. After 5 years of preparation, of watching their people die in pirate attacks, of being treated like prisoners in their own solar system, humanity had reached its breaking point. As Thomas walked back to his ship, He remembered the Council's words from 5 years ago. Humans advance too quickly. They're too innovative, too dangerous to be trusted. Well, he muttered, boarding the Relentless, they should have thought of that before they gave us a reason to prove them right. The Relentless lifted off from Mars for what everyone knew would be the last routine patrol. Next time she flew, it would be to break humanity's chains. The Council had wanted humanity contained. They were about to learn that some things become more dangerous when you try to cage them. The Galactic Council's border station was considered unbeatable. 12 warships patrolled its space, backed by defense platforms carrying the most advanced weapons in known space. The station's commander felt completely safe until a single ship appeared from nowhere. The Relentless dropped out of faster-than-light travel less than a kilometer from the station. Before anyone could react, Captain Thomas's voice broadcast on all frequencies. "This is humanity's response to your lies. We found your pirates. We found your proof. Now, let's see how the mighty Council deals with what they created." In the Council chamber thousands of light years away, the speaker watched in horror as live feeds showed the impossible, a human warship outside Earth's solar system. How did they get past our sensor nets? Launch all ships. Contain them. But containing the Relentless wasn't so simple anymore. "Multiple ships approaching, Captain," the sensor officer reported. "They're charging weapons." Thomas nodded calmly. "Let them fire first. Let everyone see who started this fight." The Council fleet opened fire. Energy beams and plasma torpedoes streaked toward the Relentless. The station's commander smiled, expecting to see the human ship vaporize. Instead, the attacks vanished. The quantum shields Engineer Mark had designed didn't just block the weapons. They erased them from existence, creating tiny pockets of warped space that swallowed every shot. Impossible. The station commander's voice cracked. "They're shields. They're using technology that can't exist." "That's humanity's gift," Thomas broadcast back. "We see the impossible and make it real." Now, watch what 5 years of anger has created. The Relentless moved like a dancer through space. Robert's special weapons opened up, not targeting the ship's weapons or engines, but hitting precise points that their research had identified as Council vessels' weak spots. One by one, the mighty Council warships lost power. No explosions, no destruction. Just 12 of the most advanced ships in the galaxy floating helpless in space. "Download their data cores," Thomas ordered. "Every ship, every computer. Let's show the galaxy what their precious Council really is." The station commander's voice shook as he called the Council chamber. "They're not just better than us. They're not even fighting the same war. Our weapons don't work." In the Council chamber, panic spread. The speaker watched as data began flooding public networks across the galaxy. Files proved the Council had organized the pirate attacks. Messages showed they had planned to keep humanity caged forever, fearing their rate of progress. "Cut those transmissions," the speaker demanded. "We can't," a technician replied. "They're using our own communication network. The data, it's everywhere." On the Relentless, Thomas received word from Earth Command. Other species were already responding to the revelations. 3 other races that had faced Council restrictions were openly supporting Earth. More were questioning the Council's authority. "Sir," his communications officer called out, "we're receiving messages from inside Council space. Other species. They're asking for our help." Thomas smiled. "Send them this message. Humanity remembers its friends and its enemies." The station commander's voice came over the comm again, this time almost pleading. "Who are you people? What are you?" "We're human," Thomas replied simply. "You caged us, attacked us, tried to keep us weak. But that's the thing about humans. We don't get weak under pressure. We evolve. We adapt. We overcome. And now we're exactly what you feared we would become." As the Relentless prepared to leave, Thomas sent one final message to the Council chamber. "This was your doing. You could have had us as allies. Instead, you chose to make us your worst nightmare. Remember this day. Remember that you caused it. And know that we're just getting started." The ship vanished into faster-than-light travel, leaving behind 12 powerless warships, a stunned station, and a galaxy beginning to question everything they knew about the Council. In the Council chamber, the speaker stared at the replay of the battle. One human ship had just defeated their best fleet without destroying a single vessel or taking a single life. They had sought to prevent humanity from becoming too powerful. Instead, they had forced humanity to become something far more dangerous, innovative, united, and angry. And this was only the beginning. 2 weeks after the Relentless's demonstration, Earth's orbital stations picked up unusual visitors. 3 massive ships appeared at the edge of the solar system. They weren't Council designs. They were something else entirely. Captain Thomas stood on the Relentless's bridge, watching the approaching vessels. One looked like a floating crystal mountain. Another seemed made of living rock. The third glowed with strange energy patterns. "They're requesting permission to enter orbit," his communications officer reported. "Sir, they're calling themselves the Forgotten Ones." Thomas remembered old stories about species that had vanished from Council space years ago. Species that had supposedly chosen isolation. Now he wondered if they, too, had been exiled. "Allow them approach," he ordered. "But keep our shields ready. Let's hear what they have to say." The crystal ship's commander spoke first. Her voice chimed like bells. "We are the Crystal Mines. Like you, we advanced too quickly for the Council's comfort. They exiled us 30 years ago." The rock-like ship followed. "We are the Stone Shapers. The Council feared our ability to transform planets. They called us dangerous and drove us away." The third ship's transmission carried a deep sadness. "We are the Light Weavers. Our crime was creating art that the Council claimed disrupted social order. We were the first to be exiled." In the emergency meeting room beneath Mars, Earth's leaders gathered to meet representatives from each species. The Crystal Mine delegate sparkled under the lights, her crystalline form shifting colors as she spoke. "We watched your battle at the Council station," she said. "For 30 years, we've waited for someone strong enough to challenge them. Someone innovative enough to beat their technology." The Stone Shaper, looking like a statue come to life, rumbled in agreement. "You did more than defeat their ships. You proved their corruption to the galaxy. Now others are questioning, resisting." Admiral Lisa, newly appointed as Earth's diplomatic commander, leaned forward. "You're proposing an alliance." The Lightweaver's body pulsed with gentle colors. "More than an alliance. A coalition. Each of us has technology the Council fears. Together, we could be unstoppable." On screens around the room, reports showed the growing chaos in Council space. 15 species had already denounced the Council. Trade routes were disrupted. Protest movements sprang up on dozens of worlds. "The Council's greatest weapon was always fear," Thomas said, studying the reports. "Fear of being isolated. Fear of being labeled dangerous. But now they face their own fear," the Crystal Mind finished. "Fear of losing control." The Stone Shaper placed a rocky hand on the table. "We bring gifts. Crystal Mind shields can enhance your quantum technology. Our stone shaping can build hidden bases across the galaxy. The Light Weaver's energy manipulation can power them all." Admiral Lisa's eyes widened at the possibilities. "And Earth's innovations could upgrade all your systems. We could share everything." The Light Weaver pulsed brightly. "No more Council restrictions. No more artificial limits on progress. Together, we advance as far as our abilities can take us." Reports kept coming in. Council peacekeeping fleets were defecting. Smaller species were declaring independence. The mighty Galactic Council was facing something they had never planned for: open rebellion. "They made one fundamental mistake," Thomas said, looking at their new allies. "They thought isolating us would make us weaker. Instead, they created a network of advanced civilizations with every reason to work together. Admiral Lisa finished. And now those civilizations have found each other. The crystal mine's colors shifted to deep blue. We propose making Earth the headquarters of our coalition. Your victory showed the galaxy that resistance is possible. Will you lead us? The human leaders looked at each other. 5 years ago, they had been alone, exiled, and angry. Now they had powerful allies, advanced technology, and a galaxy ready for change. We accept, Admiral Lisa announced. Let's show the Council what happens when you try to cage the wrong species. As the meeting ended, Thomas watched the 3 alien ships joining Earth's defense fleet in orbit. The Relentless had struck the first blow, but this was becoming something much bigger. The Council had created their own worst nightmare, an alliance of the species they had tried to suppress. And this alliance was just the beginning. The Council speaker stood before the emergency session, his blue skin almost white with fear. They gather at the edge of our space. Humans, crystal mines, stone shapers, light weavers, and 20 other rebel species. This ends today. Launch the Grand Fleet. 5,000 Council warships, the largest fleet ever assembled, moved toward the Celestial Gate, the massive space station that controlled access to the Council's core systems. On the bridge of the Relentless, now enhanced with crystal mine technology, Captain Thomas watched the enemy fleet approach. Behind him, 300 ships of the Coalition waited. They were outnumbered, but numbers weren't everything. Remember, Thomas broadcast to the Coalition fleet, "We're not here to destroy them. We're here to end their corruption. Disable, don't kill. Show them the difference between their fear and our justice." Admiral Lisa's voice came through from her command ship. "Coalition ships report ready. The light weavers have cloaked our reserve fleet. Stone shaper bases are in position. It's time." The Council fleet struck first, filling space with energy weapons and plasma torpedoes. They expected to overwhelm the smaller Coalition force with pure firepower. Instead, they witnessed something unprecedented. The crystal mine shields, combined with human quantum technology, didn't just stop their attacks. They redirected them. Every energy beam that hit a Coalition ship was absorbed and channeled through the Light Weaver's network, powering their weapons. "They're using our own attacks against us," a Council commander shouted. "Impossible." That word, Thomas replied across all channels, doesn't mean much to humans. Coalition fleet, execute Pattern Phoenix. The Coalition ships moved in perfect harmony. Humans provided the strategy. Crystal mines managed defense. Stone shapers launched gravitational attacks, and light weavers controlled the energy flow. Years of Council-enforced isolation had forced each species to perfect their own technology. Together, they were unstoppable. The Council's front line broke first. Their ships, designed to fight traditional battles, couldn't adapt to enemies who turned their own power against them. Coalition vessels sliced through their formation, disabling weapons and engines with surgical precision. "Sir," Thomas's sensor officer called out, "they're moving their command ships back. They're trying to retreat to the Celestial Gate." Thomas smiled. "Just as we planned. Admiral Lisa, your turn." The Council fleet fell back toward the massive space station, thinking they'd found safety. That's when Admiral Lisa revealed their secret weapon. The disabled Coalition ships from previous battles hadn't been destroyed. They'd been modified by stone shapers into stealth bases, hiding inside asteroids around the Celestial Gate. "All hidden units, activate," Lisa commanded. 200 more Coalition ships emerged from their rocky camouflage, trapping the Council fleet between two forces. The Council speaker's voice shook as he broadcast, "This is impossible. You were exiles, primitives. How did you achieve this level of coordination?" "You taught us well," Thomas replied. "You showed us that together we're stronger. That innovation can't be caged. That fear shouldn't control progress. Coalition fleet, end this." The battle that followed would be studied for centuries. Coalition ships moved like dancers, their different technologies working in perfect harmony. Council vessels found their weapons useless, their shields failing, their engines disabled by technology they had never imagined possible. Within an hour, the mighty Grand Fleet hung powerless in space. The Celestial Gate, symbol of Council authority for 1,000 years, was under Coalition control. Thomas stood from his captain's chair. All ships report. Casualties? None, sir, his officer replied with amazement. The combined shields held perfectly. We didn't lose a single ship. The Council Speaker's command vessel floated dead in space before the Relentless. Thomas opened a channel one last time. You feared us because we advanced too quickly, because we didn't follow your rules, because we couldn't be controlled. Now you see why. Humanity doesn't seek power for its own sake. We seek progress, cooperation, and justice. Your era of fear is over. As Coalition ships secured the station, Thomas looked at the disabled Council fleet. They had achieved victory not through destruction, but through innovation and cooperation, proving once and for all that the Council's fears had been their own undoing. The galaxy would never be the same. 1 month after the Battle of the Celestial Gate, representatives from over 300 species gathered in the same great hall where humanity had once stood trial. But now, everything was different. Captain Thomas, now Admiral Thomas, stood beside Admiral Lisa as they watched the former Council chamber transform. Crystal Mind engineers had replaced the old speaking platforms with a circular design where all species sat as equals. Stone shapers had carved new halls to accommodate every type of life form. Light weavers filled the space with living energy that made everyone feel welcome. Hard to believe, Lisa said, watching delegates take their seats. 5 years ago, we were exiled from this place. Now we're helping rebuild it. Thomas nodded. Not just rebuild. Transform. The first session of the new Galactic Senate was about to begin. Where the Council had ruled through fear, this new government would lead through cooperation. The former speaker, now stripped of his position, watched from a public viewing area as his replacement was chosen. The Crystal Mind ambassador rose to speak first. We nominate Earth to lead the Security Committee. Their victory proved not just their strength, but their wisdom. They could have destroyed the Council fleet. Instead, they chose to disable and reform. The Stone Shapers rumbled in agreement, and their ship, the Relentless, should become the symbol of our new peacekeeping force. Not as a weapon of war, but as a reminder that justice will always prevail. In orbit above, the Relentless floated among ships from 100 worlds. Her hull now bore the marks of all the Coalition species, crystal enhancements from the Crystal Mines, stone-forged armor from the Stone Shapers, and energy conduits from the Light Weavers. She had become more than a human ship. She was a symbol of unity. Back in the Senate chamber, Admiral Lisa addressed the gathering. 5 years ago, the Council tried to cage humanity because they feared our progress. Today, we propose something different. The Galactic Science Academy will be reformed. All species will share their knowledge freely. No more restrictions on innovation. A murmur of excitement filled the hall. Species that had hidden their advances for centuries could finally share them. The Light Weaver's art would flow freely through space. The Stone Shapers could teach their planet crafting skills. The Crystal Mind's consciousness technology would help all species communicate better. But what about the dangers? Asked one of the former Council members. Some technologies could threaten us all. Thomas stepped forward to answer. The Council's mistake was trying to prevent progress. Instead, we'll guide it. Every species brings unique wisdom. Together, we'll ensure technology serves life, not power. The changes spread quickly across the galaxy. The Coalition's hidden bases became research centers and trading posts. The quantum shields that had won the battle now protected civilian ships from space hazards. The Light Weaver's energy networks brought power to worlds the Council had neglected. In the Senate's first official act, they freed all exiled species and established the rights of advancement, guaranteeing every civilization the freedom to progress at their own pace without fear of punishment. Look at them. Lisa said to Thomas as they watched species that had once been enemies working together. The Council spent 1,000 years trying to keep everyone separate and controlled. We achieved more in 1 month by working together. Thomas smiled, remembering the day they'd been banished. They thought exile would weaken us. Instead, it taught us our greatest strength, the ability to unite others, to turn enemies into allies, to find hope in the darkest moments. As the session ended, news came in from across the galaxy. Trade routes were reopening. Cultural exchanges were flourishing. The Coalition fleet, once a rebellion, was now a peacekeeping force helping worlds the Council had abandoned. The former speaker approached Thomas before leaving. "We feared you would destroy us," he admitted. "Instead, you built something better than we ever managed. That's the thing about humans," Thomas replied. "We don't just survive our challenges, we learn from them. And now the whole galaxy can learn with us." Outside the Senate Hall, ships from hundreds of worlds filled the sky. The Relentless flew among them, no longer a lone warship but part of something greater. The Council's age of fear had ended. The age of unity had begun.